Welcome everyone to the 12 Talk podcast. Now, you may be wondering why it's just me. Now, it's a first solo pod for me, so be gentle in the comments. We're going to be talking all about the Seahawks victory over the Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be a very happy pod for a change. I cannot wait to get into it. For those of you that are joining us really early, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this. Now, as you can see from the box over here, I'm going to be going through your highlights. My winners and losers. Are we witnessing the birth of the Legion of Boom 2.0? And as always, we've got your comments and questions. Now, before we go any further, some of you will already know this, but we are the UK Seahawks official podcast. If you want to join the UK Seahawkers, you can. It is only £12 a year. Absolutely nothing. £12 for a single membership, for £20 for a family of up to 4 at the same address. If you're outside the UK, there are some additional shipping charges purely because there's goodies that can be had. And with that, you can get access to game day field passes. You get, as I said, your annual collection of goodies, which I'll show you very, very shortly. You get 10% off at the Pro Shop, plus much, much more. This year, we got our customary patch. You get your wristband. We also got 2 coasters, and you get your membership card as well. And you can join this fantastic bunch right here at one of our meetups. This was in Glasgow. We've got another one coming up very, very soon, and details will be coming out about that. Now, as I said, it is just me, so there's quite a bit to go through. And if you have got any comments or any questions, by all means, pop them in, and I will try and get to them all. But before we get to that, I'm going to hit the theme music and then let's dive straight in. Thanks again to everyone for tuning in. If you are new to the channel or you've just stumbled across us, by all means, like this video. It really helps us. Subscribe to the channel. We want to reach more and more 12s, and also hit that notification bell. And also, you can join our Discord. It's completely free. It is down there in the description box. Come and join us. There are 12s from all over the world, and we're chopping up and talking Seahawks all day, every day. And if you really want to support the pod, and you can, buy me and Mitch a coffee. We're a self-funded pod. Anything that you can give really helps us keep this thing ticking over, as well as the YouTube subs. We're very, very close to being able to actually earn something from this, which would be lovely. But apart from that, you can buy us a coffee, a beer, or a pizza. Well, first, shall we get into this? So the Seahawks had what's the best way to describe it? A typically Seahawks game, I suppose. It was one of those where the first half we genuinely had no idea what was going to happen, and then in the second half we turned it on. The Clint Kubiak, who I'll get to very, very soon, seems to flick a switch and remembers how to play OC, which is absolutely fantastic to see. That first half, I was in the watch party as a silent member this week, but there was a lot of frustration. There was some calls that were mind-boggling. We couldn't get out of our own way. And then the second half came about, and instantly, straight away, you had that Rashid Shaheed kickoff return, first one of his career, and it was a 100-yarder. Absolutely amazing. Now, I can't wait to hear what you guys say about this. As you can see, your comments are coming up down there, and I'll be getting to them very, very soon. But we also have my highlights. So my highlights for this were probably the same as everyone else's. There's so many to go through, especially from the defensive side, but I don't just want to sort of harp on about that. I don't want to keep glazing the players I always glaze, like Zach Charbonnet, who I thought was fantastic. I thought Darnold did really, really well as well. I mean, 3 touchdowns for him, all in the second half, 2 for JSN, 1 for Cup. Brilliant. But I have to point out that Rashid Shaheed kickoff return for 100 yards was just amazing to see. And when you listen to Mike Mac, you listen to the players as well. Mike Mac called that at half time. He said to Rashid Shaheed, he was like, "You've got this. You're going to take this back for a TD." That, as a player, is the belief you want from your head coach. And just on a quick sidebar, I've just watched the Mike MacDonald show, and the way he talks about coaching is so refreshing. It's talking about coaching the process. It's talking about not sort of what do we do, it's the how do we do it and why do we do it, which is absolutely fantastic. He mentioned one of my personal favorites, tackling. And it's not a matter of why we do it this way or how we do it this way. It's why we do it this way. How do you get yourself into those positions? And if he goes into that sort of depth on a granular level from coaching, all I can think is that this team is just going to keep going further and further and just keep building. So that was my first highlight. Absolutely loved it. And my second highlight was from a player that we all love, and it's Spoon's interception. Now, it wasn't the cleanest of interceptions, but it was a fantastic interception. You had so many players around the ball. You had one of our personal favourites on the pod, Derek Hall, who got up there making an absolute mess, just getting his hands in the way for Spoon to come down. I mean, he has been a player that we all know, we all love, but he hasn't filled up the stat sheet this year. And some people have given him a little bit of grief for that. And you can see why. People like to see the flashy plays. They like to be able to look at a box score and say exactly why someone's done something. But when you look at what he offers you as a team, that man is absolutely invaluable to the Seahawks team. So they were my main highlights. If you've got any more, by all means, let me know. I'm more than happy to sort of share your thoughts, and I will be getting through to them. In fact, let's get to them now before I go on to my winners and losers. So again, thanks very much for everyone for joining in. There's a lot of members from our Discord. Amy, just Reek, love it. You know what? This is going to be, and it might be because I'm on my own. I feel vulnerable, but I'm not going to go in at Reek because I think he has steadily improved. Apart from this, it is a dumbass taunt penalty. And it's twice now that we've seen it, but I think it's very much a matter of he's really starting to feel himself. But he does need to put himself back in that box where he's a professional athlete, and it's not a matter of I've just hit you so hard, stay down. It's a matter of that is your job. You hit someone hard, you get back up, and you go right straight on to the next one. That is all we need. So just having a quick look as well. It's very difficult this when it's just one person. Amy as well, Demon Worry. We've got Space, FTW with the Nick 6. I love that. And I'll get through to more and more of your comments as we go through. But from a winners and losers standpoint, this was weird because I had so many players written down on my little pad. And it was just difficult to pick because there were players like, I'll give you an example. I wrote J-My down purely because J-My so far this season has 135 points. He has 86.1% of a field goal percentage, 100% from extra points. He had 12 points against Atlanta. In the last 6 games alone, he's had 10 plus points every game. Now, make from that what you will. Is that a matter of we're relying on him too much? Or is that just him doing his job efficiently? And Jonas, as you can tell, I'm not feeling 100%. I don't have a fever, but I am going to start giving Reek his flowers. He is starting to become that cornerback that I think Mike Mac might want to keep about. I'm not 100% convinced, so don't take this as me completely flipping a coin on him. But I think he's come a long way. It's probably the best way of putting it. He, however, isn't one of my winners because I couldn't bring myself to do that at all. My winners for today, I don't think it'll come as any surprise to anyone. I have got Nick Eamon-Worry as my first winner. He has just been an absolute revelation. How people let Mike MacDonald get their hands on Nick Iwamori, it's beyond me. I genuinely don't get why the league passed on him. I think there was conversations about him potentially not being a good locker room guy or anything like that. But the guy is an absolute freak of nature when it comes to this. I mean, let's just have a quick look at his stats for the day. So Nick Iwamori, we had the one sack, we had the interception, and where else were we? Here we go. So 6 total tackles, 5 solo, 1 sack, 2 TFLs, 1 pass defense, the QB hit, the sack, and also he had the block field goal. Now, that is as complete a game, and yes, he's 21, as complete a game as you want to see from a rookie safety / will linebacker / cornerback or whatever we're going to put him in, and that's what's most exciting. Nick Iwamori, drafted as a safety, but he can be put anywhere. Now, I think a good friend of the show, Bryce from the Hawks Eye, he may have said yesterday on his pod that he doesn't think he's ever going to be a deep safety, which I'm fine with. You know, we all had the Jamal Adams experience where he wasn't a deep safety. He was purely a box safety. And if that is what Iwamori is going to be and do it effectively, I am fine with that. When you look at the rest of the safety group, you've got Julian Love, who's a leader in that team. You've got Ty Okada, who's really come into his own, and the tender we're going to put on him is going to be higher than some people want to pay. I hope we keep him because the development he's shown has been fantastic. Kobe Bryant, who unfortunately may have played his way into a bigger contract than we're willing to give, which is really, really sad to see. We love Kobe. We said coming out of the draft, we thought he was going to be a fantastic player. I have my opinions about him as a cornerback, but the transition to safety has suited him so well that you really can't ask for anything more. In the wake of Julian Love being injured, he's come on board and he's just taken that starting safety role by the scruff of the neck. He's calling it out. He's a leader. He's telling people to follow him, and that is exactly what you want. But unfortunately, unless we're willing to pay him the bag, he may not be a Seahawk next year, and that is going to be really sad to see. But wherever he goes, you know he's going to excel. I'd love to see him stay as a Seahawk because we started the transition to safety. He is now nearly reaching his final form, and I think he could go really far into making this a Super Bowl winning defense. Second winner, again, to no one's surprise, is Raheed Shaheed. We've been waiting for his breakout game, and if that was Iwamori's breakout game, this was Shaheed's breakout game. 100-yard, kickoff return, absolutely brilliant. 4 receptions, 67 yards, an average of 16.8. He didn't get on the score sheet, but he had a 33-yard as his longest reception, which is absolutely outstanding. He is really, really starting to gel with Sam Darnold, which is exactly what you want at this point in the season. If you've now got, obviously, Torrey Horton is injured, but then you've got Cooper Kupp, who got a TD this game, which, thank the Lord. You know, you've got JSN, who is just doing JSN things. And then you've got Raheed Shaheed, who is showing himself to be an actual weapon as well. What more can you want from this receiving team? And then you look at the tight ends. You've got, unfortunately, Arroyo might be out. Then you've got Barner, who has become tight end 1, Callerup, and you've got Saubert, who's coming back in. You know, he's eligible to come back off IR, and he is also a receiving, I won't say threat, but he's a safe pair of hands, as well as giving you that, the blocking option. Absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, I've got Raheed Shaheed as my second winner. And my third winner is someone that I think, listening in our watch party, in our Discord last night, he caught a little bit of flack. And he's catching a bit of flack from various angles at the moment. And it's Clint Kubiak. Now, I know people who are more in the know about the schematics and whatnot will probably challenge this. However, when you look at what he's managed to do in a second half of football, in 2 games now at least, and just turn it around so we actually score, shows, in my opinion, an absolutely it's a brilliant sign from a coach where you can reevaluate yourself at the half, where you'll go in with a game plan and you'll go, that isn't working, and you will change what you're doing, having seen what's happened on the field, seen what players are out there, seen how the opposition is, man marking or manning up your team. And he did that this game. 3 offensive TDs in the second half. I think the run game started looking better as well. I think the fact that he's a young coach, he's got this ability, whether that's with Mike MacDonald in his ear or he's just genuinely reflecting on what he's doing. I'm really starting to see why Mike Mac put his faith in someone like Kubiak. And some of you may agree, some of you may not. I'll get to your comments very shortly. But it gives me a lot of hope for the future. Put it that way. I mean, Mitch and I have both said that this should be a 3-year rebuild. We're in year 2 and we're well ahead of the bell curve. And if Kubiak stays for another year, then we could see a dramatic uptick in this offense. Regardless of how far we go this year, you've got to think Mike MacDonald's defense in the first year only started clicking halfway through the season, and look where it is now. Clint Kubiak has been here a year. He's finally starting to put it together. Even if it takes him to the second half, it's not ideal, but we're winning games in that second half. That is foot to the throat stuff. That is when some teams could take their foot off the gas and think, yeah, we've got this one. Our defense is playing lights out. Clint Kubiak is reflecting and saying, right, now's the time to go for it. And that is a fantastic sign for me. If you think this is year 1, what's year 2 going to look like? And beyond. Because I don't think he's going to be a head coaching candidate unless there is an absolute sparsity of people that could go there. But I would sincerely hope that he would want to see it through with the Seahawks based on the trajectory that we're on. So before I get to my loser, I'm going to go through some of your comments because there's quite a few have come through. Let's have a quick look. So I saw one about the L.O.B, so I'll leave that for now, from Gary. So we've got Ben. Nick is who Jamal Adams thinks he is, who he wishes he was. Jamal Adams had all of the hallmarks to be able to do what Nick's doing, apart from the fact that, Imawari can catch a ball and doesn't have a glove that looks like it's full of carrots, as Mitch said. So, quick from Danny here. After the way Mike spoke yesterday, Okada isn't going anywhere, and I'm so glad about that because I think Okada is a baller, as Space says there. Right. Oh, a nice one here from Jonas. Kobe will be the 2026 Geno Stone. Do you think it's going to be a big contract elsewhere? I think it might be. Sorry, Sorbert. Sorry, mate. I'm really sorry. Imagine you'd be cutting wood. Okay. Sorry. Danny with I'm hoping Kubiak has a big jump next year. I think we all hope that. And then from Ben again, Kubiak's second half compared to the first half was very different. It did help with the defense, giving us some good field position. Agreed. But on the flip side of that, Kubiak actually realized what he needed to do to convert that field position into points. What was it? 31 unanswered points in the second half. You can't say much more than that. I think he's really starting to turn it on. That's exactly what we want. There we go. Good friend Hawk Skull. When the offense clicks, it clicks hard. When it doesn't, it looks littered with problems. 2005 Seahawks are very much a feast and famine team. Agreed wholeheartedly. And I think it will take time. It's going to take time to gel for people to actually look at all three sides of the football for us and say we're an elite team. At the moment, and I'm going to swallow my pride here, as I got some grief last week for calling Harbaugh a Nepo hire. I think Jay Harbaugh has turned it around. I think his special teams unit is one of the best in the league now, without a doubt. Mike MacDonald, and I'm going to throw Aidan Durdy in here as well because he is the defensive coordinator. Their defense it's lights out. It's fantastic. It's highlight reel worthy. Pretty much every single game something happens, whether it's sacks from the defensive front, whether it is the secondary getting interceptions, whether it's your linebackers blitzing or Nick Imamori being able to blitz through a B gap and just absolutely melt a quarterback. Everything about this defense is highlight reel worthy, which makes our job as podcasters difficult, especially when you do social media, to try to pick out something to put as a highlight reel. But it's so good to see. And if Kubiak can get to that point where the offense is really starting to tick along and it becomes a highlight reel worthy offense, I think we're laughing. You've got JSN, who is a walking highlight reel at the moment, but we need more. And I think more of that is going to have to come from the run game. And they're not my losers, but I'm just going to go off a tangent here. When you look at the run game, Zach Charbonnet, again, he had the most yards yesterday. 7 carries for 46 yards, average of 6.6. No TDs, however. Second was Velus Jones Jr., who we brought into our practice squad as a kick returner. And he had 4 carries for 32 yards. Now, third, and this is the third running back because anyone under him was a quarterback or JSN getting -1 yards. Ken Walker, 10 attempts for 29 yards, 2.9 yards per attempt, the longest of 10 yards. Now, I know people are really going to go at me for this, but I'm going to say it, and I know there are people out there saying that Ken Walker is the franchise back. I still don't see it. Please enlighten me, someone who is more in the know, who can actually point out the X's and O's as to why he's our franchise back. Please tell me. Please enlighten me, because at the moment, I don't see it. I haven't seen it all season. I haven't seen it for the last 2 seasons. I have only seen him in spurts, and they're not like 60-yard take it to the house spurts. They're a longest of 10-yard spurts where you think, oh, he's going to get, no, he doesn't get there. He gets tackled. Or he runs into his O-line or runs away from any blocker and then gets tackled in the backfield. Now, I can't fathom why anyone would think he is a franchise back. And this comment from Danny, I prefer Sharps. I am with you. And this was like being a solo podcast where no one can argue with you on air. This is brilliant. But I prefer Charbonnet. I've said this for the last 2 seasons. Charbonnet does his job. He hits his gaps. He follows his lead blocker perfectly. And he has the violence in the run. He runs through people. And that's what you want. Ken has shown signs where every now and again he'll want to run through someone. But then it's like he does it once and you think, yes, he's got it. And I don't know if it's a matter of he stops and reflects and goes, oh, that hurt a bit. I'm going to try to run around people. Or that's just not him. I'd love to be enlightened by this. And don't get me wrong, was very high on him when he came out of Michigan State. I thought he'd be a fantastic addition to any team and was thrilled when we got him. But he just hasn't made the jump that I would have anticipated someone of his caliber, especially playing an outside zone run scheme now. I thought there would have been more gaps for him to hit. I thought he would have been able to take it around the tackle or off the edge past the blocking sort of tight ends, but no, nothing. It's always just Ken trying to do more than what is offered and getting a lot less than what he should be. So here we go. A couple of comments coming in here as well. So Ben, I think Ben's been better than last season. His average yards per carry is up to 4.5 from 3.7. Still not elite numbers in my eyes. And then Danny, he just seems to do as he's told. Just run, get a yard or two, doesn't cut time and time again for big losses when he's talking about Charbonnet. And then Yannick is in here. Ken's just a hit or miss guy, and I think that won't change. I agree completely. I think when he hits to the point where, you know, he will be on angry runs. He will be all over the NFL media for look at how good Ken Walker is. But you may get that once, maybe twice a year. Beyond that, nothing. Nothing. You'll get, oh, look, there's Ken Walker who has been stuffed in the backfield for a loss of 4. There's Ken Walker who has really, really tried to expand this drive and he's been tackled in the backfield for a loss of 6. There's not much else you can do about it. But anyway, he's not my loser. As much as I've gone on a tangent about him, he's not my loser. And I feel a bit bad giving this guy my loser, but I will explain why. My loser for this week, and it was a difficult one because I thought there was so many facets of this game that was so good, was Charles Cross. And I may get some heat for this, but he was beaten for that sack off James Pearce. Was it 3rd and 12 on our 9, and he was thoroughly beaten. And it's not the first time it's happened this season. And I don't know if the Seahawks fandom hold him in a higher regard than what they should because of how high he was drafted and the fact that he's probably one of the better left tackles we've had for a while. Dwayne Brown in his heyday, but he was probably the last good one we've had. I can't give Cross his flowers until he shows me he's an elite left tackle, game in, game out. An elite left tackle who doesn't get beaten like he has been over the past couple of games, because that is not elite. You know, when you look at someone like Trent Williams, doesn't get beaten like that. You know, even when it's someone who is quicker off the edge, Trent Williams is an elite left tackle, gets to them and stops them. And that's it's kind of my only issue with Cross at the moment. He's not showing the attributes to be elite. He's good. With more coaching from someone like John Benton, he could become great, but he's not elite. So I've had to give him a loser this time, and I feel a little bit bad for it, so I apologise. But yeah, you know, Danny's with me as well. Cross 100% agree. Looks sluggish. I thought he may have an injury. He may have an injury, and if he does, then that's perfectly understandable. But if he doesn't, it's just bad tackle play. Now, I want to give a very, very quick shout out to our sponsor of the pod, Flying V. So Flying V are a UK vintage sportswear company who have very kindly partnered with us. They have an array of things. If you're on our Discord, we had some exclusive stuff come in there as well. We had a Seahawks windbreaker, and we had a Ricky Waters champion jersey that came in there as well. But if you're not in our Discord and you want to give them a try, the link is down below in the comments. You can even use our code 12talk and you'll get 20% off whatever you order. Can't say much fairer than that, can you? The next thing I wanted to discuss is the title of the pod, and I did have all this queued up, but my computer is doing some weird update due to my DJing software. So it is, are we witnessing the birth of the Legion of Boom 2.0? And I know there's going to be a lot of people that don't necessarily agree with this, but I had a look at the stats earlier, and I was surprised, put it that way. Let me just pull this back up. So Seahawks, where were we? 2014 stats. Now these surprise me, but I think it also goes to show exactly what Mike MacDonald's doing. So 2014 Super Bowl winning team. Okay, defensively with the Legion of Boom, they were outstanding. You can't say anything less than that. So let's have a quick look. 2014 sacks at the whole season, 41. Oh, sorry, 2025, we have 41 sacks so far this season. 2014 total sacks, 37. 2014 interceptions, 13. 2025 interceptions so far, 15. And bear in mind, this is like a 16 game, if not beyond, into the Super Bowl view of this. Tackles in total, 2014, 936. This year alone, 1,030. Now, I think tackling stats are a bit of a misnomer because it's fantastic you're putting the tackles in, but it's also very much a why are you having to put the tackles in? And this year, I don't think we can blame that at all on our D-line because they have been exceptional in the last couple of years. And I've said this on the pod, the reason our linebackers have so many tackles is purely because everyone is running through our D-line. But I'm going to put some parallels up here, and I want to see if you guys know or agree with me. So what did the Legion of Boom have? Let's start with middle linebacker, totally in command of the scheme and his team, Bobby Wagner. What do the Seahawks have now under Mike MacDonald? A middle linebacker who is totally in command of the scheme and this team in Ernest Jones. Tick. What else did they have? In KJ Wright, they had a will linebacker who was seen as a fantastic deputy. I believe he was the highest tackler as well for that year, for 2014. Let's double check. Yeah, with 107 tackles. This year, we have got someone who's come out of the woodwork in Drake Thomas, who has 68 tackles currently, and he's played 13 games. Oh, you've got Ernest Jones, who's got 94, he's only played 11. So that's just the linebacker play. Okay, I won't include edges and whatnot in this because that's a completely different part of the team, in my opinion. They're the big boys up front. Then let's go back and have a look at the corners. You had an X-factor, game-changing corner who could talk the talk and walk the walk in Richard Sherman. And we have now got Devon Witherspoon. On the other side of Sherm, you had a plethora to cycle through. You had Byron Maxwell. You know, you had your let's have a look. Deshaun Shedd was there. Jeremy Lane. There was multiple on there. And what we got? You've got Josh Jobe, who was a relatively unknown, who's come into the fore. You've got Tariq Woolen, who, you know, I will give him his flowers, has been decent as well. And then the safety room. This is where it gets exciting for me. Because at safety, you had Bam Bam and Earl Thomas. Okay, an absolute ball hawk in Earl Thomas. And then you had Bam Bam Cam, who was just that absolute hammer at safety. What have we got now? You've got the absolute hammer multi-tool, which is Niki Mwori. And then beyond that, you've also got your ball hawking, commanding safeties that are Kobe Bryant, you know, Julian Love, and then you've got Tyre Carter as well. The parallels, and I'm not saying that this is by any means the finished article, but the parallels are too obvious to ignore. And the fact that you look at the top line metrics there of sort of tackles, sacks, and interceptions, this team already has surpassed the Legion of Boom. I don't know if I need to say any more. That goes to show just how elite Mike MacDonald's defense is. And it is a sight to behold, and it's only going to get better. You've got to think, if the next draft class we possibly look at an edge rusher which fits into the scheme, you've got the off season as well with free agency. You might pick up another cornerback who he thinks you're my type of guy. If that is the case, I think we are in good stead to really show up and show out. And it's so exciting to see. By all means, if you don't agree with me, you can pop them in the comments. I'd love to read these. If you've not tuned on the live and you're tuning in later on, then I love reading them. I try and respond to as many as possible. We'll also be cutting this up and putting it out on our social media, so make sure you hit us up on there as well. And yeah, if you do want to follow us on social media, it's all down here. So you can follow us at 12 Talk Pod on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X, where you'll be able to speak to me and Mitch. We're always in the comments there as well. But I think it's time. I've had a big old ramble and rant. I'm going to get through to your comments and your questions now, and then we'll wrap this up as well. Because, yeah, I don't know how people like Bryce and Dan Viens do this by themselves. I love having a partner in crime to bounce off. So let's go through. Rich has come in here to say, hopefully we see a huge game off K9 for the Rams game. That game is getting bigger and bigger as the weeks go on. I completely agree with you. It's because the Cardinals couldn't do us a favor. The destiny's now in our own hands. But then again, you can't rely on the Cardinals to do a lot, can you? They can't even win games themselves. Let's have a look. And then got Ben here again. It's surprising Charles Cross has struggled at times when he's inside at left guard. Has been 100% better this year. But yeah, he's getting beaten on the outside. He's had his moments still, but he did struggle yesterday. If he had to pick someone, he did. And it's playing with Gray's Abel, I think, has helped him massively, because last year Laken Tomlinson was just a revolving door, which meant that Charles Cross had to do what Abe Lucas is doing now, having to constantly look inside and see, do I have a job to do there or not? He's completely secure in his inside. He's getting beaten on the outside. And for a left tackle who one of his biggest attributes coming out of the draft was his foot speed, being able to move to the outside, that's concerning. Because if that's how things are going to go, then I don't know what else to say with it, really. Right. And Gary had a comment early on, so I want to bring this up, Gary. Don't think this defense is comparable to the L.O.B. This team is different, as the whole team is connected, and I love that. I believe the culture is far more sustainable for the long term, and I could not agree more. For anyone who's, there's some comments just come in there that I'm going to highlight. The reason I pull up the comparison with the L.O.B. is purely down to how highly thought of and much vaunted that defense was. And if you try and put it into a different term, that it doesn't say L.O.B., people don't really pay attention. But when you look at the L.O.B. and how elite they were compared to what we have now statistically is better. And I know there'll be Seahawks fans that watch this that will, probably say some stuff in the comments or come at me in DMs, but I don't really care, because what's in black and white, the stats are the stats. The culture, I love for this team. And as a sports coach myself, culture is everything. If you want buy-in from players, you create a culture that people want to be a part of. And Mike Mack and his coaching team are doing that. And it is amazing to see. Every guy loves everyone. I mean, you've had the comments about Sam Darnold where Ernest Jones stuck up for him, which, opposite sides of the ball. Other teams, there's a massive disconnect there. But this team, it's not a disconnect between offense and defense. It's just one team. And it is amazing to see. And if that is the culture that Mike Mack breeds, then he is going to be here well beyond 6 years. And I would anticipate a little bit more sustained success as well. Well, we hope anyway. Right. This was a good question from Jonas. Who do you think will be a head coach? Will get a head coaching gig first, Aiden or Clint? Durday. 100% Aiden Durday. I think Aiden Durday has been groomed by the NFL to be the shining light of international coaches in the National Football League. I think when you look at his pathway from his sort of apprenticeship to, being like a linebacker coach, D-line coach, and then going up to offensive coordinator, and now where he is now, I think he's been given that time under Mike MacDonald to learn the intricacies of an elite defense. So when the time is ready, the time is right for him to become a head coach, someone will snap him up. And I generally can't wait to see it. As a Brit, I'm a bit biased. And I'd hate to see him go to someone like the 49ers or the Cardinals. He won't go to the Rams. But I generally think he'd be the first over Clint Kubiak. I think everyone who's ever been coached by Aiden Durday says he's a fantastic human being. He's a great coach. He gets the best out of people, and people really, gravitate towards him. I mean, look at Big Cat and him doing the celebration together on the wing cap. This one from Ben. English media will pee their pants when Aiden becomes a head coach. Yes. I completely agree. There's so many comments. But thank you, everyone who's tuned in. There's a lot of people here that I know are from our Discord, which I really appreciate. You guys are absolute stars. If you're tuning into this and you're not in the Discord, hit the link below and you can join me, Mitch, pretty much everyone else who's been on this pod as a guest or as a co-host, and a bunch of 12s from everywhere talking about Seahawks in a friendly and respectful way, is one thing I will say. It's another reason why I need a co-host, so you can have a drink without having to stop. All right, let's have a look. So you guys are coming in hard with all these comments. All right, let's have a look. There you go, Ben. I think we're witnessing another elite defense in Seattle, but the L.O.B with the L.O.B. These guys are their own thing. I completely agree. And there were two comments that came in that I really, there you go. Nasty Golf 7. It's not L.O.B 2.0. It's M.O.B. I love it. That M.O.B movement over BS, for anyone who's on audio, or mission over BS, there we go, as corrected there, I think is fantastic. And then you've got the death zone defense, which I don't know if anyone listened to why it's called the death zone. Obviously we all thought it was corny as hell, and still do, but AD brought into light, because I believe it was when you are climbing Everest, wasn't it? Someone can correct me here in the comments. When you're climbing Everest, there is that part where is the death zone, which you need to push through in order to survive, and that's where that came from. And if that is the case, I absolutely love it. Right, there are so many comments. You guys are on it tonight. All right, and I think Ben may have shared a link into why it's called the Death Zone. But I mean, with that, guys, it's been 45 minutes of me whispering on with you guys being part of this. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who tuned in. You are all absolute heroes and have saved me from looking like a mentalist talking to myself. Here we go, Gary. Before we leave, the Death Zone is above 20,000 feet and about thriving in that environment. Absolutely love it. Love it. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you to the rest of your evenings. But if you're new to this, by all means, like this video. If you're watching this, like this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm push us out to more and more people, and it means that we can get more people in the Discord talking Seahawks. We'll get more people in the comments talking to you guys as well. Discord link is down below, and if you're feeling generous, as it's nearly Christmas time, buy me or Mitch a coffee, or a beer, or a slice of pizza, whatever you want to do. The link's down there. It really helps us because, as I said, Mitch and I self-fund. There is no money that comes in from sponsors. It all comes from us to put all of this on for you weekly. That includes the Discord and everything. But we're happy to do it. We just really, really enjoy your guys' company. But with that, I want to say a huge thank you to all of you. I want to say a massive thanks to everyone who tunes in after the live. And if you haven't already, find us on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Apple. You can find us at 12 Talk Pod on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. Make sure you check out Flying V. Also, make sure you check out the Robin Cancer Trust. If you or anyone you know has been affected by testicular or ovarian cancer, you can check them out, and they have life-saving initiatives. That's all in the comments and the section down below. And from me to you guys, I'm going to say turn it up to 12, and there's only me to do it. So it has to be in sync, doesn't it? So I'm just going to leave you with a go home.